Good morning.
Good morning, Tashina. How are you?
I'm good. Since nobody's on, can I ask you a couple questions?
Sure. Good morning. How's everybody doing? How was everybody's weekend? Was it too short? I
Yes.
feel like they're always too short, right? That's what I feel. I was just trying to log into my iPad and apparently I can't type in the right thing. Very helpful. I always feel like I need at least one day to clean after the weekend, right? Or I just have to live in the mess, right? Because there's no time to be cleaning during the week. I mean, I am doing laundry right now. That's the benefit of working from home, right? I am currently doing laundry. So, yeah, that's the nice thing. So then on breaks, I can go and change the laundry, right? And then if I put it on my bed, like waiting to fold it and put it away, my cats play in it. Like that defeats the purpose. Then there's cat hair all in my clothes. What is happening? Yeah, so that's problematic. Okay, so we'll wait for a couple more. Yeah, no kidding. Well, I just need the maid that the Jetsons had, right? Yeah. So, I did not grade the quizzes yet that you took, just in case you thought I did. I did not. I did just finish checking all the videos. So I did just finish that, which is very time consuming. So that's a huge part of it. I'll get them done as soon as I can. I did have a whole class of midterms as well to grade. So it's not just you guys waiting. There are other people waiting as well, just so you know. But the time seemed to be better. You know what I mean? Like people weren't as rushed, or so it seemed. Some people finished very quickly. Okay, Tashina's giving me the thumbs up. Matt's shaking his head in his cool hat. Yeah. Is that a new one, Matt?
Yeah, I haven't worn this one anyway. Yeah, my giant sun hat.
Yeah, love it. I didn't know if it was your Easter hat. You were outside sunning on Easter.
Oh no, I kind of barely celebrated.
Yeah. So did anybody do anything fun over the weekend, whether you celebrated or not? Did you get to do something you wanted to do? I hope so.
I got the chance to sleep in, which was really nice.
Nice, Josh. That's awesome.
Also, I can't get my camera to work, so I'll just have to use my voice.
Isn't that annoying when something changes and you can't figure it out?
Yeah, it's so annoying.
I know, it's always something. Oh, afternoon nap. That sounds awesome. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put up a warm up and then we're going to talk. And then whatever I did last class was very ineffective, let me tell you, like my 9 o'clock, because I just looked at their exit ticket and like all but 2 people got it wrong. So I've had a malfunction of teaching today. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. We're going to do a little bit different. So let me put up this warm up. And I think hopefully whatever I do is better than what happened in the last class. Can't be worse, I'm pretty sure. So we're good to go. I don't know what happened. It was very bizarre. Okay. So let's start here. Oh, I didn't even want to. Well, let's do our warm up first, and then we'll do our mindfulness Monday because I do love our mindfulness Monday. So you're going to complete all three of these problems. You're going to write your answer in all of these formats: a simplified fraction, a decimal to 4 places, and a percent rounded to the nearest tenth. So this is stuff you already know how to do. So number 1, what's the probability of rolling a number less than 3 on a 6-sided die? And then 2 is about cards, and 3 is about both. Okay, so try those, and when you're done, type in the chat, ooh, what I should make for dinner, or what you want for dinner. I'm not making your dinner, just in case you thought I was making your dinner. What's for dinner? Let's make that our chat. So when you're finished with all three, type what's for dinner. You can see my screen, yes? Okay. All right, it seems like most people are finished, and I don't care if you were sending it to everybody or just me, it doesn't matter. I try to respond to everyone just because it's very fun. You guys always give me good ideas, so that's fun. I have no idea what I'm going to make, literally still. Now I have so many ideas. I should probably go look at what's in my refrigerator, right? That would probably be helpful. We just had ham yesterday. You know, it's very traditional Easter. Tacos always sound good. Pizza always sounds good. Mellow Mushroom does have a great Monday pizza deal, by the way. And so if you've never tried Mellow Mushroom, Monday is a good time to try it. Okay. So let's compare our answers. Compare your answers to what I show you on the screen right now. And if you got them all correct, give me a party hat, clapping hands, something. If you did not get them correct and you have a question, please ask now. That's a great thing to do. Did I see any party hats? Did anyone get them all right?
I didn't get
Maybe I
number.
missed the party hats. Okay. You did? Which one?
The last one, I did not get it right. I guess I put the wrong, so I put 3 out of 6 instead of the 2 out of 6. So then that changed my answer.
Yeah. So it was a number less than 3. So you might have included 3 instead, but it's just less than 3. So
Yeah.
it's just 2 out of 6. Very nice. Okay. Any other questions on these? Any ones you don't understand where I got them? Did anyone check their rounding errors? Make sure they didn't make a mistake. I didn't even round these to 4 decimal places. If this was 4 decimal places, oops, it would be 3, 3, 3, 3. If this was 4 decimal places, it would be 7, 6, 9. And that one is 4 decimal places. So everything else looks good. Okay, so that should have been a reminder. Let me tell you kind of where we're headed, okay? In case you're nervous. Remember, I am going to grade the quizzes, your uploaded work. So I go over everybody's uploaded work. But sorry, it is time consuming. So I don't know that those will be done today, just so you know. So just hang in there. Then this week, we're going to do PC5 and PC6. Next week, we're going to do PC7, and then you'll take the second half of the quiz late next week. So like on the, let me look at a calendar. I'm guessing it's like the 17th. Let me look. Why does my calendar go away? I don't understand that. So April, let's say April 15th and 16th is when you'll take your next quiz. So we have some time to get through that, but just look ahead to that. I'm also going to do my review a little bit different. Instead of having a whole class period to review, I'm going to assign review problems to each student, and you're going to make a video explaining one of the problems that I assign you. And then everybody will be able to watch everybody's videos. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, Ruki, I like that. It's a good one. Okay. So, and if you're worried about your problem, you can take your problem to the tutoring center because it's just on the review, or you can go over it with me, right? So you make sure it's correct, but you're going to make the video. Okay. Before we go too much further, I'm going to do our Mindfulness Monday activity. I know some of you it's a very stressful time of the year, or we just have a lot going on, whatever it is. But I want to make sure that we have some coping mechanisms that we don't even think about sometimes, but they can really help us. Okay, now I have nothing on my screen. It's very helpful. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to share my other screen because it's a video. And all right, 1 second. Okay, so it's about 2 minutes long. You can turn your camera off if you want while we do this part.
I'm going to talk you through colour breathing. Colour breathing is a useful exercise to help us relax, feel calmer, and it slows our heart rate down. This is particularly helpful if we feel worried, but you can use it at other times as well to relax. Give it a go and see if it's helpful for you. I'm going to start by asking you to choose a negative colour or a colour that you don't like. I usually use the colour red. Next, I want you to think about a positive, calming colour, a colour you do like. I like to use the colour blue, but it's entirely up to you what colours you want to use. In a moment, I'll be asking you to take a deep breath in through your nose. I want you to hold it for around 3 to 4 seconds and then breathe out slowly through your mouth. I want you to imagine that your negative colour is inside your body, in your tummy, your arms, running all the way down to your legs. Your negative colour is your worry or the thing that's bothering you. And when you breathe out of your mouth, you imagine the negative colour, the worry or the thing that's bothering you leaving your body. Let's give it a go. Sit back, close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Now take a deep breath in through your nose. Imagine your calming colour filling your body. Now breathe out through your mouth slowly, imagining your negative colour, your worry, whatever's bothering you, leaving you. You can do this as many times as you need to. Keep practicing this regularly so you get the hang of doing this, and remember that you can use this anywhere. Thanks for listening, and please check out other videos from Healthy Minds Lincolnshire.
All right, what'd you guys think of that one? Have you ever done color breathing before? Kind of a fun one, right? I actually like how she has a picture on there for you so you can think about all those colors. It's always funny to me every time I watch this or do this one because she picks red as her negative color, and that's not my negative color. That's my calming color. So I always think that's very funny. So my negative, especially when I think about it being inside my body, is like green or yellow, like ugly, whatever, if it's inside my body, and I want to get it out, right? So, and red, I don't know. Ever since the very first time I did this, first of all, I love the color red. And second of all, I think like blood in my body is a good thing, right? Like, so I don't want that out. I'm good keeping it in there. So maybe I think too much, probably, but I do think that's a fun one. So, so try color breathing. That might even be helpful when you're somewhere and you're super stressed out. If you can find somewhere in the room with the colors that you like to kind of focus your mind, that might be helpful. So I like color breathing. And remember, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do the ones that you don't want to do. Just pick out of the ones that I'm giving you on those Mondays. Think about the ones that you really like, and then maybe you find an app or maybe you search something else that you seem to like, you know, on those, because we all need it. We all need some type of relaxation technique, right? Okay, so now we're going to talk about probabilities involving or. Okay, so do you remember in the very beginning, we talked about like, what's the probability of something happening? Then we talked about the probability of two things happening, right? And so we multiplied those two together. Like we said, what's the probability of getting a red 10, right? Or a red card and a 10, you know? So those kind of things where we were pulling two cards at the same, right? Or two things were happening. Then we talked about conditional probability, where it was like, what's the probability they get an A on a test given they're female or given they're male, right? Or what's the probability that you get a speeding ticket given you have a red car or not a red car? Remember all of those? So we've talked about all those already. So, but what we haven't talked about yet is probabilities that say or in them. So it's still only one event occurring, not like when we multiplied events when two things occur, but now we only have one thing occurring. So either event occurring. So this formula is really important, and let's make sense of it. So if we're trying to find the probability of A or B happening, this is how we do it. They're not both happening, so we're not doing two events and multiplying them. It's just one event, but it has two options, okay? So we find the probability of the first thing, and then we add to it the probability of the second thing. So, and then notice that there's some subtraction going on here at the end, okay? So we're gonna subtract off the probability that they both happen. Okay, and let's do an example because it'll make sense. I'm going to skip this for a minute because I want to show an example. Okay, well, actually, let's do this one, but I'm going to skip what this means. I better not skip it. I was thinking it would make it easier, but it might not. So sometimes we don't have to do that little subtraction part at the end. Notice this formula has a subtraction part right here. But this formula doesn't. It's missing. You see that? It's missing there. And the reason you don't have to subtract sometimes is because the events can't occur at the same time. So we don't double count. So an example of that might be if you toss a coin, right? What's the probability I get heads or tails? Well, a coin can't be heads and tails at the same time, right? It's only going to be heads or tails. Same with the dice. If I say, what's the probability of rolling a 3 or a 6? Well, I'm just going to find the probability of rolling a 3 and add it to the probability of rolling a 6, because I can't get a 3, 6. I can't get one that's both of those numbers at the same time. Does that make sense? Okay, so sometimes we don't have to subtract off that little end part. But if you're ever confused, think about, can these things happen at the same time? If they can't, it's called mutually exclusive. So now let's look at an example. The key to this is we're going to draw one card. Do you see that? We're only pulling one card from the deck. And it says, what's the probability that we're going to get the King of Hearts or a queen? So this is your new word right there, or a queen. So first, let's think about that. So if we have the probability of the King of Hearts or a queen. Well, according to our formula, we would do find the probability of the King of Hearts. And then we would add to that the probability of a queen. And then maybe we have to subtract off the part where it's the King of Hearts and a queen. Can that happen? Can the King of Hearts ever be a queen? No, I love Danessa's face. Danessa was like, first Danessa was shaking their head like, and then when like, I don't know, like maybe. So that was perfect. Love it. Yeah, it can't be a king of hearts and a queen at the same time. It's not going to happen. So in this case, those events are what we would call mutually exclusive. So we don't have to subtract anything off. Make sense? Okay, so now someone tell me, what's the probability that you get the king of hearts? What are the chances?
One out of 13, yeah, over 13.
Is it 1 out of 13 or 1 out of 52?
Of the hearts, it says.
It's just a king of hearts. So what's the probability you pull out one card from the whole deck and it's the king of hearts? I agree with the 1, right? Because there's only one king of hearts in the deck, yeah? And we're pulling out of all the possible cards. So what would our denominator be, Ruki?
52.
There you go, 52. Okay, now, what's the probability that we get a queen? Lily, what do you think it is?
4 out of 52.
Very nice, 4 out of 52, because there's 4 queens out of 52 cards. Okay, so now to find this probability that's the king of hearts or a queen, I'm just going to add those two together and I get 5 out of 52. I don't have to subtract anything because it can't be a king of hearts and a queen at the same time. So I could write it as a decimal as I want if I wanted, or a percent. Any questions on where I got 5 out of 52? All right. So now look at this one. A jar contains 4 red marbles numbered 1 through 4, 10 blue marbles numbered 1 to 10, and a marble is drawn at random from the jar. And we're trying to find the probability that the marble is blue or even numbered. Okay, that's what we're trying to find. The probability that it's blue or even numbered. Now, we have to think about, can these events occur at the same time? So first, let's just write our probability statement. So the probability that it's blue or even. Well, we're going to take the probability that it's blue plus the probability that it's even minus the probability that it's blue and even, if they can occur at the same time, because then we would have double counted them. So notice that this looks just like my formula, right? I just replaced A and B with blue and even. I didn't do anything else. Everybody okay so far? Okay, I'm going to draw my sample space because remember when we did these marble problems and I thought it was helpful to draw them? So 4 reds, and they were numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I had 10 blues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now what's the probability that the marble I pull out of all of these marbles is blue? "10 out of 14, says Zebby. I agree with you, Zebby, because there's 10 blue marbles, they're right here, out of a total of 14 marbles. Any questions on that? Everybody okay? Okay, now, what's the probability we're going to get an even marble out of all of these marbles? What's the probability that the marble is going to be even?
Is 7? No.
7?
Yeah.
So let's count them. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's all the even ones. Everybody agree with Ruki on that one? Very nice. Now, do you see how we counted some of the marbles twice? Because we counted when they were blue and we counted when some of them were even too. So that's that. It's not mutually exclusive. That's where it can occur at the same time. That's right here, blue and even. So that's why we have to subtract off, because we've counted them 2 times. Okay. So now we want to get rid of the marbles that are blue and even. So how many are blue and even? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of them. Yes, do you agree? Those
Yes.
are the ones we double counted right there, right? So we're going to subtract off 5 out of 14. So if I take 10 out of 14 plus 7 out of 14 minus 5 out of 14, what are you going to get?
11. Nope.
Anyone agree with Ruki?
Oh, yeah.
You're close, Ruki.
12, sorry.
There you go, 12. So
Yeah.
12 out of 14, which is the same as 6 over 7. So do you see how this time we had to subtract off some? Okay. Questions on this? There's just my work right there. So now, what I did with my last class is I went over all of that just with them, and then I put them in their breakout rooms, and I don't know what happened, but it was not good. Whatever it was not good. So instead of just sending you on your own, I'm going to put this doc in the chat. Again, you can make a copy of it, but definitely access it because you are going to work in your breakout rooms in just a minute. But I want to do one of these problems with you. Okay. So get that doc from the chat. I'll pull it up on here. And we'll do number 1 together. Okay, and then I'll let you do 2 through 8 because that might be a little bit easier for you. So I'm going to give you about a minute to read through the directions and then problem 1, and then we'll talk about it all together. All right. So Tashina, I love that you put that in the chat. That and versus given throws you off already. Well, remember, given was conditional probability. So sometimes we use and given in the same sentence, right? So yeah, you just have to be careful. Or sometimes that's if 2 things are occurring. And could just be one thing is occurring. I'm just putting multiple criteria on that one thing happening. Okay, so everybody has the problem, yes? So question 1 says, a test was given to a group of students. The grades and gender are summarized below. This should seem familiar, right? So you have A, B, and C, you have male and female, and you have all your totals. So if we start with part A, find the probability that the student is female and, this is really important, and earns an A. So how many students are we picking? Just one. And we're just saying they have both of these criteria. They are female and they have an A, okay? So what do you think female and an A would be in this case? Get it ready in the chat. Simplify it. Let's just do actually, I don't care if you do a fraction, a decimal, or a percent, because I have all of those answers. So the probability that they're female and they earned an A. Simplify your fraction if you need to. Write your decimal and your percent. And you can write any of those. I don't care, whichever one you like the best in the chat. Okay, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. We have lots of different answers so far. 2 out of 13, 5 out of 9, 5 out of 13, 38 and a half, 5 out of 13. Okay, so tell me in this table where you see female students that earned an A. What number in the table is it?
10.
Yeah, it's this one right here. And does it say I'm choosing out of certain students or any student?
It's,
Do you see how it just says a student is chosen at random?
no, it's female, it's certain students.
We're choosing from all of the students, right? We're only picking one. So there's a total of 65. So your fraction should be 10 over 65, which simplifies to 2 over 13. So hooray for those of you who got 2 out of 13. Those of you that got 5 out of 13, do you see where you went wrong? Or 5 out of 9? Tell me where you got your, I'm assuming that you all got your 5 from your 10 in your numerator, right? So what did you use for your denominator? I'm guessing that the people who got 5 out of 9 used 18 as their denominator. Yeah?
I did 26. Bottom.
What?
I did 26. I used 26. So I was
Oh,
right.
so you used the 26. So do you see why it's 65 for
Oh.
everyone?
Yep.
Okay, good. Good. Okay. So now do part B. Part B is very similar. Now it's just saying male and earned an A. Same question, but it just changed the gender. So the probability that they're male and earned an A. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to do that one. Okay, you ready to put your answer in the chat? 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. So here's the problem. When I give you an example that's just like one, then you can do it. If I ask you to think, you have a lot more trouble, right? So be very careful. Make sure you're checking in, because it can't always be there's going to be a problem exactly like the one I just gave you, okay? All right, so 8 out of 65 is correct. By the way, it did want you to write them all 3 ways. So this would be 0.1538 or 15.4%. This one would be 0.1231 or 12.3%. Now, parts C and D, notice we've changed to an or instead of an and. So on parts C and D, you're going to use the formula that we just talked about, where we said, okay, the probability of a male or a C is going to be the probability that they're male plus the probability that they earned a C minus the probability that they're male and earned a C. Okay, because that's the formula we just learned for or. Find the probability of the first event, find the probability of the second event, add those two together, and then subtract off the probability that it's both of those things at the same time, because we're getting rid of our double counting. Okay? So who can tell me what this first fraction would be right here? The probability that they're male.
39 out
What-
of 65.
Yeah.
Very nice. That'd be 39 out of 65, because I want anyone who's male. Right? So I'm going to take this number right here, 39 out of a total of 65. Okay, how about this second fraction? What's the probability they got a C?
25 out of 65.
What was your first number?
25.
So 25 out of 65, because you're looking at the C's right here.
Mm.
So 25 out of 65. Very nice. Now, do I have some students that are male and they earned a C? Yeah. How many of them? Very nice. These right here, right? These 13 out of 65, I counted twice, because I counted them in the 39 and I counted them in the 25. So I have to get rid of my double counting. So if I do 39 plus 25 minus 13, then I would get, did you get 51 out of 65? Is that what you got? Yay. And as a decimal, that would be 0.7846. And as a percent, that would be 78.5%. All right, so do you see how A and B were different than C? Yeah, because C was an or and A and B were and. Okay, do part D, and I'll have you put your answer in the chat in just a minute. All right. You ready to put your answer in the chat? Either a fraction, a decimal, or a percent. I don't care. Are you ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so someone who got 44 out of 65, talk me through it. What did you do?
So for the probability that the student is a female, it would be 26 over 65. And then you'd add it to the probability that the student earned a B, which was 22 over 65. And then you're gonna subtract it from what from the female that had earned a B, which would be 4 over 65.
Is that what everybody did, or do you have any questions on where that came from? So the probability that they're female is 26 out of 65 because there were 26 female right there out of a total of 65. And then for B, that's right here. So there were 22 out of 65. And then this right here, that's both colors, is our overlap that we need to get rid of. So -4 out of 65. And that's how we got that 44 out of 65, which would be the same as 0.6769 or 67.7%. Is that better? Do you see where you made a mistake if you did? All right, so the formula for an OR is always the same. The probability of the first thing plus the probability of the other thing minus the probability of both things together. Sometimes that's 0, right? And sometimes it's not. So now you have number 2 all the way to number 8 to complete, okay? So this is going to count for a grade that you finished it. And you might not finish it today, but if you don't, you'll finish it tomorrow, okay? So I'm going to put you in your breakout room. I don't care how you work with your partner. If you want to work separately and then compare answers, that's totally fine, okay? All right, so, and if you finish, call me in. And if I don't come right away, just know I'm helping someone else and I'll be right there as soon as I can. And I'm going to leave you in your breakout rooms for about 15, almost 20 minutes. Okay, so you should have a lot of time now that you have these examples. And then we'll do our exit ticket and we'll be all done. Okay. All right, so you can either talk or you can type in the chat. Tell me what number you got to. And if you finish, just tell me you finished. So, but every person needs to message me and tell me how far you got. All right, I just put a message in the chat. I want to see how far every person got. You can send them directly to me. You don't have to send it to everybody. It doesn't matter to me either way. Okay. All right. So I think I know where everybody is. So sometimes these problems get a little tricky. Make sure you follow the formula every time. Okay. So sometimes, remember, the formula is the probability of A or B is equal to the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B. Now, sometimes this will be 0, right? And you don't have to subtract anything off. But you definitely need to think, is it 0 or is it not 0? Okay. All right. So this is not homework for you. We're going to finish it in class tomorrow. Okay. We're going to finish it in class tomorrow. If you want to finish it for homework, that's fine. I always have plenty more for us to do. That being said, what I do want us to do is you can start your PC5 homework practice, right, on more. You can do that. Now, the reading quiz for PC6 and the mini lesson for PC6 aren't due until tomorrow, but you can do those if you want to get a jump start on them. It's up to you. And then I'm just going to have you do your exit ticket. Everybody okay? Any questions for me? Okay, let me put this exit ticket in the chat. Good job today. Remember, I am going over those tests. I just haven't had time to do it yet. So as soon as I do, you will see that I'll grade your written part, and then your score on the test may or may not change. Okay. All right, good job today. Let me know if you need anything.